Let us, oh, I'm sorry. Hi there. Let us introduce you to what beautiful dinner setting. Amazing. Wow, you look great. I mean, that must mean something very special. It's okay, you can take a sip from the wine. Yeah. The dinner will be served at 7. So we have some stuff we have to do right now. And hey, yeah, I'm still here. We are starting with the preachers. No, with the speeches. I'm sorry. It may be some preaching, you never know. But we have round 1 of speeches because we actually will have a round 2 when we have had some dinner. So I would like to introduce the first couple, and I asked Amalia and David to tell me something about all the people that I have asked to do some speeches. So I'm actually going to introduce each of the speeches with their own words. So, Mamma och Pappa Sund. Amalia says, "You are my role models. Always made sure I knew that I was loved." David says, "Always made me feel accepted." Welcome, Annika and Magnusson.
You want to see her? Amalia, our princess, who we both thought was a boy. And you surprised us with your entrance 1 week early at Södersjukhuset in Stockholm. Jeremiah, the older brother, immediately fell in love with Amalia. And with big eyes, he looked at her, and then he looked at us, and then he said, "She's so beautiful, she doesn't have a penis."
And Amalia early let us know that she had a will, a strong will. She liked to be a leader, and like Jeremiah was falling in love with Amalia when she came, Amalia did not fall in love with Amadeus when he arrived. No. When he got home to our house at the hospital, she actually stepped on him in our hallway. She did not want to compete with the little brother. But to her defense, she was 1 year old. Her first friend outside the family was Alba, one of her bridesmaids who couldn't make it. She was our neighbor's daughter when she grew up, and she was born 6 months after Amalia. And Alba became her best friend pretty much from the day she was born. They played every day. They went to kindergarten, preschool, and school together. They always had each other's back. And Amalia and Alba loved to play with Amadeus. Since he was the younger one, they could always use him as their baby or their dog or their helper. Yeah.
An example of Amalia's strong will was from when all the family together with Bibi went for 6 weeks to Coast. And she didn't take it off the whole day. And later she figured out that she could use this Mickey Mouse thing. So every time we told her not to do something, she just said, I'm not Amalia, I'm Mickey Mouse. Trying to get away with things.
And Amalia early started with gymnastics, team gymnastics. She was the most flexible in her group throughout all the years. She competed with her team at the highest level, the nationals in Sweden, for her age group. And she's still excellent in handstands and the splits. When Amalia was 4, the doctors noticed her severe vision impairment and she got prescription for glasses. And we will never forget the day that she tried out her first pair of glasses. It was a completely new world just opening up for her. She stood in front of the mirror and she looked at every detail of her face. She touched her eyes like this and her nose and her mouth. She had never seen all these things in her face. It was so beautiful and we just cried, Magnus and I. And she laughed at everything she saw. She looked in the mirror and then she looked on the side of the mirror and then started laughing at all the new things she saw. And when we were exiting the store, she didn't want to go out because there was one kind of floor here and another kind of tiles there. And she thought it was like a difference in levels. So she was like, and finally she took a big leap over it. And also, when she got her first pair of glasses, she started drawing, painting and drawing, and she drew details of faces and human people that we saw no other 4-year-old person do. And from that day on, she is an amazing drawer. Yeah.
When you were 10, we moved to Thailand together with the schools, with the kids, and there we met Shashin, where are you, Shashin? And Jennifer, cruise. And they teamed up because Jennifer was also doing gymnastics. So they met at the Thai gym and at the beach doing gymnastics and became really close friends. And after Thailand, Jennifer and Amalia didn't see each other that much. You visited Jennifer up north. I invite you all to Jennifer and Kerstin's house. On behalf of Kerstin.
Welcome.
Yes. But then when you later moved to Australia, it turned out that Jennifer was there as well. And we moved in together and shared an apartment and had a great time. And invited us over Christmas, which was amazing. Thank you very much.
So after some years back in Sweden, then after Thailand, we moved from Stockholm to Gothenburg and then decided to move to California. And there Amalia met Christina, her maid of honor. She did an exchange year in Baccarat, and they became close friends pretty fast. Amalia, with her leader skills, she convinced Christina to join the diving club. As a gymnast, you should be pretty good at diving, and Amalia was pretty good at diving. This was not Christina's cup of tea. But Christina, she became an extra dog, she was. We are beyond grateful for Christina and her deep, genuine friendship with Amalia. They love, they laugh, they argue, they fight, and then they laugh and love again. All in 15 minutes, and then it starts over. And after Christina had left for California, the girls continued to deepen their friendship by lots of phone calls and by traveling to each other wherever they were in the world.
In Baccarat, we also met this young man, David, who was a friend of Jeremiah. And they worked out together. Amalia was in Australia doing a YWAM school, and then at Christmas 2016, they met in real life for the first time at our home in Baccarat. One early morning, it was a really important soccer game. We had Sven and Helene and the family there. Sweden was playing, I think it was playoff for maybe World Cup, very important, we were there early. And Amalia shows up to the soccer game. Dressed up, showered.
We had invited David to come and watch the soccer game with us. No Americans wanted to watch soccer. And we knew we could just play.
Amalia came with makeup, well dressed, smelling beautiful, just for the soccer.
Yeah. Amalia, you are our princess. You are kind, you are beautiful, you are smart, and most of all, you are brave. From the day Amalia got her first pair of glasses and explored the whole world in a new way, she has always wanted to explore more, do more. We always thought of our boys being, adventurous when they grew up, but Amalia is extremely brave and adventurous. She left on her own to Byron Bay in Australia to do an adventure wild wine school. She skydived from an airplane, she went surfing, she lived in the jungle in Indonesia for a mission trip where she actually got dengue fever. She connected with prisoners when all the other girls chose to stay outside, all on her own. She went to Brisbane, all on her own, to a parent and family she never met. She went to South Africa before dating David to do an Irish Bible school, all on her own. She went to Sydney, all on her own, to do her design studies at college there. And Amalia, you've been exposed to terrible events in your life, but still, you keep being brave, kind, and hopeful in people's goodness. You're awesome.
This is not a speech, but I just followed it when Mom said it. One day, Amalia called me from Bali, and everyone in the team had diarrhea. And she said, Dad, today we're going to go to some kind of monkey temple and do a prayer walk for 3 hours. It's 35 degrees warm outside. But I guess you have to do what you have to do.
Possible attitude.
Amalia's time optimism, with David's more structure and patience.
David's a little bit calmer spirit, with Amalia's a little bit more adventurous spirit.
Amalia's creativity with
David's creativity.
it's gonna be awesome.
Also, teachers, never forget you always will have our full support. Yeah, and also Lisa and John, we are so glad to now also have a South African family, or also be in a South African family. This is huge for us. It's awesome. We travel a lot. We love traveling, but it's amazing to actually be part of another, culture. We're so happy, and you're welcome to Sweden whenever. You can stay with us in our cabin. You can stay at Farmer Farfar, who has a house, or you can go to Amalia's uncle in Italy, who also has a house. But we would love to host you in our little cabin. Simple life, but lovely. Yeah. Thank you. We love you.
Right. So, the next speech is from Lisa and John, and I will introduce you with a word from David, who says, "You have been amazing parents that always supported me in whatever I did." And Amalia saying, "You are so generous and so welcome." Lisa and John. Thanks, Magnus and Monica. That was amazing. Really enjoyed every moment of it. It has been an adventure being parents to David, especially in the USA. And that in itself meant that the weather on the day that you were born was very similar to today. And it was cold, it was raining, but added in was some snow. And in Atlanta, Georgia, when it snows, it shuts down. Nobody goes anywhere. People who have babies go by helicopter. You don't drive anywhere because they have a few days of snow. And eventually we needed to get to the hospital. And we were immigrants on a work visa, and a bachelor had taken pity on us. And so we were using his, we would call it the Aki. There you call it a pickup. It was a Nissan pickup. And as we got onto the road, eventually we didn't take the helicopter, we took the Nissan, and this car started slipping on the road because it was wet, icy, and full of snow. Our trip was about an hour to the airport. We got there to the hospital, and David was a few weeks early, but he was as cute as anything. We just stared and stared and stared at him. 24 hours later, we were home, and we just kept staring at him. And so that was the beginning of our adventure with our firstborn. And so a few years down the line, I told the boys that I told Dave that I was praying for his wife for one day. And he must have noted this as about a 5-year-old, because now he was 6 and he began grade 1. And first week of school, we're driving to school, and I said, I'm praying for your teacher. And without blinking, he turned around and he said, I thought you were praying for my wife. It's like all 6-year-olds look at him like you pray for one or the other. So we have been praying for you for a while. And so a few years further down the line, David was in America, and Nick had done a little bit of time there, and Nick mentioned when he came back, there's a girl that David likes. And so noted that as the mom. And we were having a long call across Atlantic one day, and put the phone down, it was our bedtime, and a text message came through. And John looked at his phone and said, oh, I forgot to tell you, I have a girlfriend. So that was really important information, because this was his first girlfriend. So I said, text, what is her name? So we looked at this name and go, Amalia. I'm thinking American. Amalia, never heard of a name like that. So I said, John, text back, say, that's Amalia's name. And so that was our first introduction to Amalia. So as parents, you want your children to be successful. And when we saw how you two had to navigate cross-continent, long-distance relationship, overcome obstacles, and you did, we saw that you could build a marriage. And we were confident that this day would come and you would be successful. So you are so welcome in our family, in our extended family. We love you. You are kind, compassionate, and you are strong and strong together, and will be stronger together. So we love you. A couple of other things. I was thinking of 2 characteristics this morning to describe David. And considered was the one word, and aesthetic. If you know David, you know that aesthetic is very important in life. If he's your graphic designer, you'll be grateful that aesthetic, how it looks, counts. How it looks is important. And Amalia, I think you're a very considered aesthetic. So we love you, David. We love raising you. We love who you are, your uniqueness, your considering of everything. And so welcome to the family, Amalia Zing Amalia.
Unaccustomed to speaking as I am. What a wonderful, not just an occasion and opportunity, but this historic moment of joining families together. And just a beautiful thing for us as the clans coming together and to rejoice in what the Lord is doing. And for all of us, when we come to this occasion, this is a beginning. It's not just an event on its own, but it's marking a beginning of lives that are going to be lived together. And so we're looking forward, as Magnus said in the ceremony, to many good things to come. Small things at first, and then let them grow. Likeable, neat, minimalist, fashionista, designer, an eye for aesthetics, not one for the spotlight, international perspective, undergirding faith. All the above was so magnificently captured in your absolutely stunning engagement. Oh my goodness, our generation was so happy. We don't have to compete with that. Of course, as your parents, we treasure so many rich, meaningful, delightful memories. And just a few key words again, because it's just so much. Atlanta, Washington, Ganubi, Wilkie Street, Zambia, Argentina, East London, Vacaville, Switzerland, Italy. Man, this guy gets around. Constantia Cove Primary School, King's School West Rand, First Team Hockey, farm holidays in the Eastern Cape, Plettenberg Bay, Nan, Pops, Granny, Grandpa. You carry within you a rich, spiritual, and a multi-generational heritage. So many profound, prophetic words have been spoken over you. And we agree with everything that Magnus prayed over you and said over you and spoke over your lives. That the two of you combined together are going to be a force to be reckoned with, because we see you in your potential and we see you reaching for all that God has for you. And so we, as your parents, we bless you, Dave, as you leave and as you cleave. You leave our family with all our peculiar ways, our inspector classic sense of humor, our living for the King. By virtue of your surname, you've been associated with ministry family, and you've been continuously aware of the pressure of being under the spotlight of public scrutiny. And all these things, and you get to start your own family. And you get to cleave to your wife, Amalia. To begin your own family, you get to fashion your own destiny together. to discover new horizons, new territories, to go on amazing adventures, and to take full advantage of the potential that God has for you all over the globe. Mom and I always said lightheartedly that we want to raise you in such a way that we could get you out the house. And so after 26 years, 1 down and 2 to go, but this time with a full heart, we bless you, David and Amalia, as you begin your adventurous journey. May you step into everything that the Sunt name means, healthy and prosperous. Go with our love and our blessing. Bon voyage and Godspeed. And to the parents, oh my goodness, we've done it. So this is just a little moment for the 4 of us. If the rest of you want to join in, that's fine. But to the parents,
Cheers, everyone.
Hey, are you ready? Good guess. So, next speech is from Farmor och Farfar. And Amalia is introducing you by saying, when I grew up, I was jealous of anyone who lived close to the grandparents. Summer break was always the best, eating farmers' plättar or listening to farmers' stories. David, I wish my grandparents could be here, but it feels great to know my new grandparents care for me as their own grandson. Farfar is becoming not only my grandpa, but a really good friend. The translation will be on the screen, since Farfar is doing this in Swedish. You can stay there.
Yeah. I must have a glasses. Okay. First of all, I would like to say welcome to the province. Welcome to the family. We are very happy to know as South Africans to our Swedish-American family. Welcome to Sweden and welcome to stay at our house if you ever travel. And no, in Swedish. Kära brudparet Amalia och David. Äktenskapet kan liknas vid ett vin. Man söker tills man hittar det bästa. Och så håller man sig till det. Man tittar på det, man smakar på det och man njuter av det. Och ju längre man lagrar det, ju bättre blir det. Man älskar det och så är det med äktenskapet. Kära Amalia, du hittade ditt livs sten i Vacaville. Ett fantastiskt Amarone David 1996 med druva Cramptons från Sydafrika. Vilket fynd, Amalia. Det finns ju bara en flaska i hela världen. Sköt om den, älskar den, så har du ett utmärkt vin hela livet. Också kära David, du hittade också ditt vin i Vacaville. En Magna Carta Amalia 1997 med druva Sund från Sverige. David, wow! Hur lyckades du få tag i detta unika vin från Sverige? Jag vet att du åkt jorden runt för att du älskade detta vinet så mycket. Du åkte till USA, Australien, Sverige, Sydafrika, Italien, Como, där vi fick uppleva ett fantastiskt förråd. David, nu har du fått hem ditt älskade vin. Var rädd om det, njut av det, älska det, så kommer du ha det hela livet. Och om ni i framtiden mixar era vin kan ni få en liten flaska rosé. Escapades, pilotage, baby. Lycka till. Och nu, we have a surprise. One bottle Amarone David från Amalia. And one bottle Magna Carta Amalia från David. Ja. Och så utbringar vi ett fyrfaldigt leve för brudparet. De lever. Hipp hipp, hurra! 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 Please raise your glasses in a skål för brudparet.
Thank you, Farfar. So, just before dinner, I would like to introduce the next pair. It's Ruth and Ashley, and I'll do it with Amalia and David's words. David, they had a massively positive impact on one of the hardest times of my life, where they took me in and helped me to get back on my feet again. I will always be grateful for them in my life. Amalia made me feel like family from the day I met them. They made it easy for me to be myself. Welcome.
David and Amalia, I think you must come and stand with us. Because if your parents said you made it, I want to say to you guys, you made it! Woo! You know that U2 song which goes, I have run through the fields, but I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And that beautiful what I'm looking for there. So, let me stand on the side. Firstly, thank you just for the privilege to speak at the wedding. It's been a joy to have a relationship with David over many years, and it's been great fun to get to know Amalia over the last few. And we've had many good debates, and I said to her the other day, we were on the phone together, and it had something to do with, I'll tell you the story. She had an idea, David had another idea. Her idea was more effective, and so she said, you see, women can take the lead. And so I said to her, Amalia, we won't talk about this now, but we'll talk about this for the rest of our lives. I wasn't sure how this was going to work out in terms of all that had been said, and I know that the people who have spoken previously, these are the most special people to David and Amalia, and you know them really well. We don't know them to that extent, but as I just reflected about them, I wanted to come up with a simple acronym of ABC, and A for adoration, B for beauty, and C for courage. And these are things that we've seen in their lives in a number of different ways. And I think that each of us reflect different aspects of the one who created us. And I think that you'll see that these aspects of adoration of each other, I think that your love for each other, I think challenges all of us. The extent that you have gone to be together, the extent that you have gone to have time together, you have crossed countries, you have crossed boundaries of administrations, you have crossed immigration issues, and I think that it was quite an interesting day when David said he was going to go to Australia, and I think that was quite a key time in your relationship when he set sail for Australia. And there was no other reason to go to Australia other than Amalia. Maybe similar to that soccer game. There was no other reason to watch soccer that day than it was David. And I think that your adoration for each other, it certainly challenges me. I hope that for all couples, we can have that kind of adoration for each other, and I think it's a wonderful thing. So congratulations on the A part. B for beauty. Amalia is very beautiful, and I think that it's not just not just today, because often people say that at a wedding, but the one that they've stayed at the house for a few weeks, and sometimes it can be really cold, and Amalia had this thing cut off her shoulder, and I said to her, aren't you going to be cold? And she said, well, beauty comes at a price. And yeah. So, and I think that it's interesting to me when people present themselves well. Some people present themselves well, and it's driven out of a thing of pride. But for me, it's different with you. Amalia has something inside of herself that she wants to express, and it expresses itself in beauty. And as I said, I feel like we all express something of the one God does. And for me, you express the beauty of God, and in all of the things that you do and how you do them. And again, I feel like it's something just for each of us just to reflect on. When we see beautiful things, it is a reflection of the one who created that beauty. And so, and David he also has this particular style, and he likes things done to me, in a beautiful way. I don't know if you saw the order of events earlier. Did you design it? So this was the order of events today, and just the way it was designed, the layout, the apportionment of space, the apportionment of free space, those kinds of things are very beautiful. And I just wanted to also just honor your parents at different times. For those of you who don't know, Lisa is a wonderful artist. She's very creative, and her art has a flamboyant beauty to it. And David has inherited, I think, some of that from his mom. And graphic design is an area where he's involved. And as for me, that's another expression of beauty. Things to watch out for is have a look how perfectly David's pants stop at exactly the right place, that they're tapered perfectly. Notice the little gold writing on his white shoes. These are all details which he's very aware of. And it's a reflection of beauty. He doesn't just do things in a haphazard way. It's very ordered, very careful. And for those of you who don't know, if you want to see something which is a reflection of order, then have a look at David's t-shirt cupboard. Every shirt is perfectly folded and lined up on top of each other. And then lastly, the C for courage. The story of your pursuit of each other is one of courage. I'm not sure if you know, in South Africa, everybody predominantly would go through the schooling system. They did not go through the schooling system in the same way as everybody else. Since then, there's been a lot more homeschooling, but at that point in time, it was quite unusual to finish school not in a school. And what the point I want to make is that there's a certain courage in that, just to stand up against the system and say, well, I'm going to write my exam on my own outside of a school. When Dave was finished school, he came and spent a few months with us in our home in East London, and that was also quite unusual. That was in the season when people finished school and then they went to university. Dave didn't. He came and stayed at our house, spent time in the company that I had at the time, learning different aspects of it, which included graphic design, and the point being, these were courageous steps. Then, when everybody else went to university in South Africa, Dave went to university in America, and for somebody who's quite a quiet person, to be in a foreign country, having to navigate his way into the university system, sometimes I phoned Dave and I said, so, what are your courses? And he's like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be signing up for. And it's a massive amounts of courage just to get through the system. Other things, obviously, courage in pursuing Amalia in these foreign countries. His, as we mentioned already this evening, his engagement proposal. These are very creative things to do for David. I mean, he thought about that for a long time. I think when running it one day, I'm like, Dave, where are you at on this thing? I'm thinking about it. So those were also, for me, key things of your character. We've heard quite a bit about Amalia. I think she's, her independence is something that started from a very young age. Her granny was telling me that she would get angry if she couldn't open the yogurt, and if somebody did it for her. So these are two characters, and as John was saying earlier, I think the combination is one incredible combination of people. Lastly, I wanted to also just highlight David's dad, John. He has an amazing networking capability. He has a network of, I would say, thousands of people across the world that he's brought together. And you owe it to your dad because of his networking capability. You are a product of that. So well done, John. And lastly, just as a little touch, David mentioned in his introduction to the grandparents that he wished his grandparents were here, just as a fun little aside. Wasn't planned this way, but this is David's granny's jacket, a nice little coat, and this is his grandfather's cravat, and so they obviously are really proud of it, would have been really proud of this moment, and as also mentioned, the heritage, which is something to be cherished, and it's contribute to making you guys who you are. So A, B, and C, adoration, beauty, and courage. And when Ruth's going to give her input, and then we can maybe input.
I won't be as long as you. But firstly, to the Swedish family, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all coming and flying out, and it's been wonderful meeting you. It's been, I don't know for the rest of South Africans, but honestly, it feels like we know each other for longer than we met. We just clicked at the bridal shower. We had an amazing bride last night, and it was so comfortable. So we just love you guys. And Granny and Grandpa, Papa and Grandma, I don't know, you've crept into my heart already. I'm going to adopt you. Please adopt me. And to this beautiful, beautiful couple, I can't believe the day is coming. But you two, I'm not going to repeat what everyone else has said. I agree with what everyone else has said. But you two are definitely two that are going to live outside of the lines and outside of a little box. And you're going to frame up your own world together. That I am sure of. And God has a purpose and a plan. And He will never leave you, and He will never forsake you, and He will guide you. He will bring people alongside you who you walked with and looked up to for all these years, and they will confirm these things to you. And I just wanted to give you some little advice. The flowers you've chosen, that my darling sister has put together beautifully. I love. Christy, they are beautiful. I'm sure someone else will talk about them, but I just love them. But what I was looking at them is it reflects both of you. Okay. We have these beautiful roses, and they are like show-stopping, beautiful, like they're simple, elegant, but very stylish. But they're definitely, they're economist. And then we have this Drosophila. And at a glance, it's just like this mass. But when you zone in and look at the intricate detail and design, they are beautiful on their own. And my advice is, today, and on your wedding cake you got both of them, I noticed. So today it's not difficult to notice each other and to adore each other. And that's the rose. But sometimes life gets busy, and the two of you can disappear in that Drosophila, and you can't really find each other. And my advice is, keep the date nights going. Okay? Find each other, zone in on each other, and celebrate each other. Celebrate the uniqueness that first, Amalia, you fell in love with, or David, and David, the thing that she's so beautiful, that is so extravagant, and she's so out there, and you fell in love with this amazing woman. So keep celebrating each other. We love you, love you, love you. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, maybe just raise your glasses and to David and Amalia.
Some kissing and then some dinner. Yay. enjoy this beautiful dinner, and we will be back in a minute.